Loose leash walking games are super fun. Not only do they make loose leash walking easier, but also they help your dog to focus. Another bonus is these exercises become the foundation for excellent recall. Practicing these games will motivate your dog to offer you more attention, and the ultimate goal is that your dog will find you more valuable than other distractions. If my crazy border collies and I can do this, then so can you. If you want a better life for you and your dog, the border collies and I would love you to join us. What we all really want with dog walks is to be able to walk in harmony together and not to be fighting one another. The problem that a lot of people have with leash walking is that your dog pulls on the leash and then you pull back on the leash, and pretty soon you have a full-out tug-of-war. And that's not fun for either of you. Frankly, the surroundings can be much more rewarding to a dog than the person on the other end of the lead, especially if that person is distracted. Pressure on the neck and the leash itself can be a negative experience for the dog. Basically, it can be an obstacle keeping him from the places he really wants to be. Fearful dogs can be ultra alert to their environment and don't always feel safe. But there is hope. We can change a dog's perception of the leash and make it into a positive experience for the dog. One traditional way to teach loose leash walking is to take steps forward and then stop. And if the dog pulls you, you take steps backwards or change directions, and eventually the dog will follow you. The exercises we're going to do are basically a fun version of that. The first exercise we're going to do teaches the dog that staying close to you really pays off. It's really important to start these exercises in places with low distractions, like in the house or your garage or maybe your backyard, until you've repeated them a few times and your dog is responding. Then you'll slowly build up to busier areas. You'll need some lower value treats, that is, treats that your dog likes but are not his absolute favorite. Things like kibble or chunks of apple or carrot, just depending on what your dog likes. And you'll need plenty of higher value treats. Things your dog really loves, like cubed chicken, cheese, or liver, anchovies, just to name a few ideas. Keep your dog more motivated by making sure your dog hasn't eaten just before this exercise. In fact, you can use part or all of your dog's meal. Start by throwing out a low value treat, and when he looks back at you, run the other way. Then give several high-value treats from your hand or drop them close to you. Repeat the process from different directions. You can use words like nice or good dog, but the words you use don't matter as much as your tone. You want this to be fun for your dog, but not overstimulating, especially if you have a dog that tends to get overexcited. Keeping the high-value treats close to you and rewarding generously teaches the dog that really awesome things come from you or near you. You can use a long lead for this exercise. After a few successful sessions, you can add in a distraction, like a piece of food or a toy. When you practice, change direction so your dog never knows which direction you're headed and they have to pay attention to you. When you see that your dog is really focusing on you, you can stop at that point. That's enough for a first session. Practice this a few times before moving to the next step. Once you can get your dog's attention easily, it's time for the next part of the game.
Go get it.
Throw out the lower value food in one direction, and when you have your dog's attention, use a marker word like nice and throw the food in the other direction. As soon as your dog gives you attention, you do the same again. This way, your dog is learning that checking in with you really pays off, and it's fun. At this point, it's time to add in the leash. Obviously, you won't throw the food as far, and do use a harness for this rather than a collar. You don't want to be jerking the dog's neck when he runs to get the treat and doing damage. Give him lots of leash room so that he can easily get the treat, and make sure that you leave enough slack on the leash that he never ends up yanking it. If you have a dog that can get overexcited with this type of game, or if you have limited space, you can still do this exercise, just keep it calm. You don't have to throw the treat very far.
Good boy. boy.
The harness is an excellent tool for this exercise and many others. I'm going to talk about why in the next video. See you there.